Hello, everyone. It's great to see all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining us from in the world. I am Annie Campbell Washington, and I'm Senior Assistant Dean of Academic Programs and Dean of Students here at the Goldman School of Public Policy at UC Berkeley. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm going to share with you the agenda for this evening. You are joined into an admissions information session for the Master of Public Affairs degree at UC Berkeley at the Goldman School. We will be happy to answer all of your questions this evening. So you can either enter them into the chat box as we're talking, just so that you don't have to remember what your question was, and we'll try to answer them throughout the presentation. But for sure, we will pause at the end and answer anyone's question that hasn't yet been answered in the chat box, as well as we'll take your questions just by raising your hand, using the raise your hand function. So there'll be plenty of time for questions at the end. And then if you find that you have questions after this is over, you can always email us at the email address below, which is mpa@berkeley.edu. Okay, with that, we'll get rolling here. So our agenda for this evening is to provide you with a robust overview of the Goldman School of Public Policy. We'll dive deeply into the Master of Public Affairs program so that you get all of your questions answered about the MPA. We'll talk about the admissions process and then get into next steps before we answer all of your questions. Again, my name is Annie Campbell Washington, and I'm Senior Assistant Dean of Academic Programs and Dean of Students at the Goldman School. I actually came to the Goldman School as a student back in 1998. I enrolled in the Master of Public Policy degree program. I had come to the school with a background in nonprofit management and went into local government after I graduated, serving in the city of Oakland, which is a neighboring city to Berkeley, for many, many years, which culminated in being an elected official in Oakland, city council member and vice mayor. And then I came back about 8 or 9 years ago and now serve as Dean of Students at the Goldman School. I absolutely love our community, so I'm really thrilled to be able to share more with you tonight. But first, I want to introduce part of our MPA team who are here tonight. So Cam, I'll hand it over to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Annie. Welcome all who are joining us here this evening. And I definitely want to commend you on taking some time this evening to explore ways in which you can, grow yourself and further your education. I know we're close to the holidays, so I feel like there's no better gift to yourself than to take the time to do that. So I am Cameron Parker, the Executive Director of Student Affairs here at the Goldman School. I came to Goldman and with many years of experience in higher ed here in the East Bay area, and truly have a passion for helping every student that comes through any place that I work at to have the best experience, to feel supported and to feel a part of the community. As Annie said, the community that we have at the Goldman School is incredible, and it's one of my favorite things about being a member or an employee here at Goldman. It is something that I have not seen anywhere else. And so I'm extremely excited anytime I get to share that with prospective students or just get to share that with the world and the work that we do and the impact that we make. So I'm happy to have you here this evening. Welcome.
Thank you, Cam. And Simone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay. My name is Simone Bryce. I've been with the Goldman School just over 5 years now. I have a background in local government, both for the city of Richmond, Virginia, as well as the city of Oakland, California. And then after that, I spent about 10 years at a clean energy startup, helping commercial property owners do clean energy financing by kind of mixing public monies with private monies, leveraging them to provide a below market rate financing, which of course improved the uptake of clean energy financing. So I still do a little bit of that, but my role here at the Goldman School is being in charge of student services, helping you all with your admissions, getting your applications in, getting timely notifications to you all, as well as helping with matriculation. And then once you're here, helping make sure that everybody maintains degree cadence, or where unfortunately that may not be possible, helping to design and administer any accommodations that are needed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simone. So the other two members of the MPA team are Hector Cardenas, who is our faculty director for the MPA program, and Tom Hernandez, who is the career services and career coach for the MPA program. So all of the students have their own career coach, and Tom Hernandez is the associate director of career services assigned to the MPA program. So that makes up the MPA team, but it doesn't make up the entire career and student services team. We have a larger team that interacts and works with all the students at the Goldman School. So let's move on here to learn more about the Goldman School. David Wilson is the dean of the Goldman School, and he came to us about 3 years ago. And it is an exciting time to be the part of the Goldman School of Public Policy. He is an innovative leader. He has started quite a few new initiatives at the school. So you'll notice when you're on our website, you'll see references to the Democracy Policy Initiative, the Tech Policy Initiative, and new leaders that are being attracted to the school, whether they're teaching or serving as an advisor to the school or in a fellowship program. He's definitely been an attraction to many leaders throughout the country and beyond to the school, and is really part of an effort to ensure that our school stays at the forefront of public policy schools in the nation and the world. So just to share a little bit more history and background on the Goldman School, we were founded in 1969 as one of the very first public policy schools in the nation, and consistently ranked as the #1 public policy analysis program in the US, and very often receiving top rankings in social policy, health policy, public affairs, education policy. We're also, of course, located at the #1 public university in the country. We're very proud to be part of the University of California, Berkeley, and it's an amazing opportunity for our students to take courses not only at GSPP, but across the campus, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail. Many of our students are very interdisciplinary in the things that they want to study, and do take advantage of the academic offerings across the campus, which is an incredible privilege of being a student at the Goldman School. And of course, we're preparing our students as a professional school. We're preparing our students for a diverse set of careers across the US and across the world. Many of our students come to us with a background in the public sector, either at the local, state, or federal or international levels, or from the private sector or from the nonprofit sector. And then they're either looking for career advancements in the sector that they already work, or they're looking to transfer into another sector, which makes the mid-career program an exciting one, because students are here with us for 12 or 14 months and are making major transitions. I apologize that my dog is barking right now. Can you hear that? Okay, good. The Goldman School is known for its faculty. Our faculty are leading in the nation and the world in all of these policy areas that I've listed here, as well as many more. And we also pride ourselves in having a robust number of faculty who are in ladder rank positions, who are doing research and policy and advising leaders across the country and the world. And we also bring in practitioners who are doing the work on the ground that students have an opportunity to learn from, who are working at the national and international levels. So you see here Janet Napolitano, Robert Reich, who have served in previous presidential cabinets, as well as Hilary Hoynes, who is an economist and is our associate dean, as well as some others. And they're all on our website. And I do encourage you to look at our website to see the backgrounds and research areas of our faculty. We also like to point out to potential applicants that although we don't require a concentration, you can absolutely concentrate in the policy area that you wish by bringing elective courses together from the Goldman School of Public Policy or from schools across campus. And I'll talk about that in a moment. If you're interested, there are also opportunities for to earn certificates in addition to your master's degree while you're completing your year at the Goldman School. And many of our students choose to complete a certificate in tech policy, for example, or in data science. So they add that on to their master's degree in the year that they're studying at the Goldman School. And as I mentioned a couple of times already, many of our MPA students in particular, because they're mid-career, want to focus not only on some of the electives that we're offering at the Goldman School, but also taking courses across campus. So many of our MPA students take courses at the Haas School of Business, with the Energy and Resources Group, the Berkeley Law School, the School of Education, the School of Public Health. And each of these programs are number one or at the very top of programs across the country in their own right. So you not only have the benefit of studying at the Goldman School of Public Policy, but you also have the benefit of studying at some of the top programs across the country in these other areas. So let's talk about what the student body looks like at the Goldman School. So in addition to the MPA degree program, which we're talking about this evening, which is our mid-career master's degree that you complete in either 12 or 14 months. And our cohort this year is about 64 students, but we're looking to grow that program. We'd like to grow the MPA program to be around 100 students each year. In addition, you're studying with students in these other master degree programs. So we have a 2-year full-time Master of Public Policy degree. And in each year of that program, we have about 80 to 85 students each year. And then we also have a 2-year full-time Master of Development Practice program. And those students, we have about 30 to 35 students per year in that program. And often the electives that you take will include students from those master's degrees as well as students from across the campus. They'll come and take classes at the Goldman School. So it's a very rich student experience where you're learning together and playing off of each other's interests and passions. We also have an acclaimed PhD program that is, at any one time, we have about 15 students enrolled in our PhD program, and we admit 1 or 2 new students each year. Our undergraduate minor is very popular, which I love to talk about because I just love that our young people are finding out about public policy so much younger. We have at any one time about 750 students enrolled in the undergraduate minor at UC Berkeley. In general, our school is very student-centered, very inclusive. It is a place where you absolutely can get to know the students in all of the other programs. And I like to say it's small enough to wrap your arms around the school. You can get to know the faculty, you can get to know the staff, and you can get to know the students, which is rare. Many of the other public policy schools are quite a bit larger, and it's difficult to get to know the full school. So we really love that about GSPP. Okay, Cam, would you like to talk a little bit more about the community?
Absolutely, one of my favorite things to do. So, yes, as Annie said, small enough to wrap your arms around. So, for those of you that are looking at UC Berkeley as a huge entity, where there's always something going on and there are a million different things that can pull your attention in one direction or another, you would be correct. But what you may not know is that the Goldman School is it gives you an intimate feel, a little bit separate from campus, but still very much ingrained to where you are getting the full Berkeley experience. And for me, that is something that I feel like a lot of our students benefit from. As you can see here on the slide, there are some qualities about our community that we want to talk about. So as Annie said, diverse, dynamic, and as you know, the reputation that Berkeley has, as well as the Goldman School for rigorous educational environment. So we do challenge you academically, but we have a network of people, including myself, Annie, Tom, Simone here, and as well as other members of our student services staff and career services staff to support you while you're on that journey. We we don't throw you into a pool and just expect you to survive once you're admitted. We make sure that you're receiving the resources that you need, that we have mental health activities and things like that. We actually had this past Monday, because most of our students are completing or beginning finals right now. We had something that we call Bear Break Day, which is just an opportunity to relax, decompress, have some food, study if necessary, and our opportunity to support you as you're going after your educational goals and completing your semester. Our close-knit community is something that we take pride in. When you're a member of the Goldman School, you almost have what I would consider a small college feel within a much larger network. I've been out in the world, been wearing my Goldman public policy shirt, and I will have alumni that come up to me and they have graduated 10, 15 years ago, and they'll ask about things that are still happening at the Goldman School because it's that type of community. If you went there, there's a cafe that students sit at. There are different activities and things that happen throughout the year. And with that, our alumni network, folks that are dedicated to helping our students understand the Goldman School. We often have student and alumni panels for prospective students and alumni events for current students so that they can network with alumni and understand where their degree can take them, what they should keep in mind as they're going through the degree program here at the Goldman School. I will say that in 99.9% of the time, if we need an alumni to help support an initiative or an event that we're doing here on campus or online, we have multiple alumni that are responding saying that they're willing, that whatever they need, and some have even opened their houses up to current students so that they can meet with them and support them. And last but not least, our commitment to inclusion. We know that there are certain, buzzwords that float through society and especially higher ed right now, with inclusion and diversity and things like that being one of them. But at the Goldman School, we're committed to that. It is actually ingrained into the work we do. We are consistently training ourselves, working with our student population, and reevaluating how we facilitate the student experience in real time to ensure that we are creating spaces for multiple groups and for everyone that's a part of it. That does not mean that everything that exists currently will be reflected as you set foot on campus day one. But what's important about that is that we will work to help you either create your space or to find your space within our community. Next slide, Annie. And with that being said, student organizations and clubs. This is a longer list, but it's not an exhaustive list, so I'm not going to read through everything. I will let you take a few seconds to read through some of the groups. But I've done personal work in my role with some of these groups and organizations, with these clubs and organizations. One of my favorite times of year is when we come back in the fall semester. We have a club fair where clubs and orgs and student leaders are able to present their missions and goals and to share all of that with the student body to recruit students, to foster help and support within the community. Even if people are not members of clubs or orgs, I've seen students support the mission of a club or organization, which I think speaks to the community we have here. So, and last but not least, I'll point out that if you do not see a club here that reflects something you would want to start, what we do is we do encourage our students to create new clubs, and there is not a year or two wait list policy or anything like that to begin to see your club doing work within the Goldman community.
Thank you so much, Cam.
You're welcome.
So let's now move into talking in more detail about the Master of Public Affairs requirements. So first, I'd like to just take a step back for a moment, because most of you will be looking at the MPA at GSPP and also perhaps a master's degree at another public policy school, and comparing and contrasting those degree programs. I do like to call to your attention that sometimes a school will use MPA to mean Master of Public Administration, and sometimes they'll use it to mean Master of Public Affairs. Often it's important to take a look at what courses will be offered and what courses will be required for that degree program, just to make sure that you are enrolling in a degree program that's really perfect for you and perfect for your learning goals. The way that we use MPA at the Goldman School is to designate Master of Public Affairs, as I mentioned, but it is our mid-career professional degree program. So in particular, this MPA degree program is designed for folks with, on average, 7 to 10 years of work experience. Some of our students have many more years of work experience than that. Some have a little bit fewer, but on average, our students are coming to us with 7 to 10 years of work experience, and they are farther along in their careers. So they are perhaps already at a management or leadership level, and they're looking to get a master's degree program to help them focus on the particular individual growth that they need to experience in their life to advance their career, or perhaps they might want to make a career shift. It's very different than a student who is coming for our 2-year Master of Public Policy degree program, who is perhaps on average invested in 3 to 5 years of work experience and are perhaps earlier on in their career and might want to start out in a different place than an MPA student. So I just like to call that to your attention to make sure that you are focused in on the right degree program at the Goldman School, and also to prepare you to take a look at degree programs at other schools and make sure you're comparing apples to apples, because we all call our program something a little bit slightly different. So you want to dig a little bit further and take a look at the courses that you'll be enrolled in and what your learning goals will be in that degree program. With the MPA curriculum, we're very focused on building your toolkit. So we want to make sure that you get the policy tools that you need to be able to make change in the world in which you want to make change. We also are focused in on leadership skills, because we know that you are already serving in leadership roles to begin with, and you will be going back into leadership roles. So we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to focus on that while you're at school. So this slide does demonstrate the core curriculum. So these classes that are listed next to the bullet points are the core courses that are required for the MPA degree. Policy analysis and econ for policymakers. No, policy analysis and research methods are required for all students to take in the summer. We now have a way to start the program in person and a way to start the program online, but both sets of students take those 2 core courses in the summer: policy analysis and research methods. Innovation strategy and leadership and econ our in-person students will take at the beginning of the program, and then our online students will take in the fall semester. And then finally, everyone will be taking inferential statistics either in the summer or in the fall as well. And then finally, your last core course is the capstone project course. Every graduating master's degree student from the Goldman School completes a capstone project before they graduate in the spring of their graduation year. So our students are required to choose a client who has a real world project where they're tackling a real world problem. And that student works with that client through the spring semester with the assistance of a faculty advisor and a capstone class, where you're meeting with around 12 to 13 of your classmates each week and talking through those projects. And that's called your capstone, and that's a required course as well. On this slide, I've shown the way in which you step through the core courses, whether you're an in-person student starting in the summer in person, which is shown on the left, or whether you're an online student, which is shown on the right. So summer session A begins in May and runs for 6 weeks. So all of the MPA students who are starting in person will be full-time students for those 6 weeks, and they'll take almost all of their core in that first summer session. They'll take policy analysis, innovation strategy and leadership, econ, and research methods. Then they'll choose to either take inferential statistics in the summer or the fall, and then they'll take the capstone in the spring. The rest of the time, they'll be taking electives. The online students, if you start in the program online, it's because perhaps you are not able to start in person in mid-May. You're able to start online at the beginning of June. But if you do that, if you make that decision to start online, you'll complete 2 of those required courses in June online in the evening. So you'll be in class every evening, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for the month of June to complete those 2 core courses. So either way, it's a pretty intensive way to start the program, but it also bonds you to the rest of the cohort, and you have an opportunity to really get to know the rest of the cohort in those core courses. If you do start online and you complete those 2 core courses, you will complete the other 2 core courses in the fall semester. So it does take away some of your ability to take as many elective courses in the fall. So I do just like to highlight that for folks. But it just depends what you can work with in your personal life and your work life, and whether you're able to get away to be a full-time student in the summer. Up until this year, all of the MPA students started in person in summer session A, and still even this year, most of the students started that way in the in-person summer session A. And it's quite a good way to start the program if you're able to do so, because you get nearly all of your core done in that first session. Okay, this slide shows some of our summer electives. So after that first summer session where you start your core, there's a second summer session called Summer D, and that runs from July through the first half of August. And most of our students who enroll, when they're enrolling in summer session D, they're taking 3 to 4 of these 1-unit classes, and they run for about a week and a half. So it gives a really nice opportunity for students to dive into an elective for a concentrated amount of time, but still leaving you time to work. Perhaps you're still working full-time or part-time. You're able to take some of these courses while you're working. If you're in person and full-time, you have much more space to take more electives if you'd like to, but most of our students take between 3 or 4 in that second summer session. And then in the fall and spring semesters, besides the core that you must take, the rest is electives, and you can take those electives either at the Goldman School or across campus. And later in the presentation, we can paste the link to our course catalog just to give you, it's nice to look at those course catalogs so you can see what's being offered this semester and next semester. It gives you a really nice idea of what would be offered in the year when you're taking electives. And also we can put the link for the full campus courses as well. It's nice to see all the choices that are offered. There's definitely a lot of choice across campus. So just to summarize, all students are enrolling in 4 semesters. You're enrolling in either summer session A in person or summer session B online. That's that May-June timeframe. You're enrolling in a summer session D, and with summer session D, you have a choice to either take it that first July, August, or you can circle back and at the very end of your program, your final July and August, you can take summer session D if that works better for your work schedule. We try to make this program as flexible as possible for your work schedule. In that case, if you do summer session D that following July, August, you'll still walk with your cohort in the commencement that occurs in May, because we want you to all graduate at the same time and walk in commencement ceremony at the same time in May. And then you'll just return to campus in July and August and take those last few electives. And then fall and spring. So all students enroll in 4 semesters, summer session A or B, summer session D, fall, spring. Those are your four semesters. One of those semesters must be in person. So if you don't start the program in person, you must take either fall or spring in person if you haven't started in person in the summer. And then inferential statistics, it used to be that we would require you to take that in summer session D, but now we've opened up a new offering of inferential statistics in the fall. So you actually can take it in summer session D or fall. So your 12-month option just means that you're taking summer session D in the first summer. The 14-month option is summer session D the following summer. And we'll be happy to share these slides with you after the presentation tonight if you'd like to look at these dates in more detail. I like to give you the dates now because May will be here before you know it. So if you're applying this year, these dates come right around the corner. So we will have an in-person orientation before classes begin, and that's scheduled for May 14th through 16th, and classes begin on May 19th. If you're starting online, we'll do an online orientation May 28th and 29th, and then your online classes will begin June 2nd. And then summer session D, as I mentioned, is in that July-August timeframe. Fall begins August 20th, spring begins January 14th. And if you're circling back around to take summer session D at the end, the July-August dates are shown here. This shows the details for summer session A. So if you choose to start with that intensive summer session A in person in the May-June timeframe, you will be in class from 9 to 11:45 and then 2 to 4:45 every day. So you must be full-time. You must step away from work during this period because even though there is a break between noon and 2, we often will bring speakers or you'll be working on your class projects during that time. So that is really the decision to make is, do I want to start this program in person, full-time, stepping away from work for those 6 weeks? So that's the purpose of this slide, is just to show you that you will actually be in class all day long, those 6 weeks. So you'll need to step away from work. And then session B is the online choice. If you choose to start online and just take 2 of the core courses instead of 4, that starts June 2nd, and you'll be in class in the evenings, either 4:30 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. or 6:15 to 9:30 p.m. And in that time frame, you'll take 2 classes each night to complete 2 courses in the month of June: policy analysis and research methods. And then summer session D is the one where you can choose to take it this summer or next summer. And we divide it into 3 different windows where you can sign up for electives in these 3 different windows at 3 different class times. So it's quite flexible. Many of our students still work part-time or full-time while they're still taking their electives in summer session D. And about half of the courses are offered online and half are offered in person. So you can make a choice about whether you want to be in person on campus or take the classes online. So it's quite flexible. Now we'll talk a bit about career services. It's something we're very proud of, the career services that we offer all of our Goldman School students. We recognize that you're coming back to a professional program because you are making a life transition of some sort. You're either looking to grow and set yourself up for a promotion or a change within the sector or employer that you're already working with, or you're setting yourself up for some type of a transition, perhaps across sectors. We take this very seriously and we staff accordingly. So Tom Hernandez is our Associate Director of Career Services for the MPA program and is a trained executive coach. He is very skilled and adept at working with mid-career professionals and will work with you one-on-one to flesh out your personalized plan for the year and what you want to get out of the program and where you're headed in your career. And he'll help you through that transition. They also, as a team, all of the career services staff members offer networking events, professional development events. We will often create events where we bring our alumni back to the school, or we'll go and meet our alumni, whether it's in San Francisco or Sacramento or Washington, D.C., and give you an opportunity to meet with alums. We also have a tool that is an online tool to provide you with job listings that are particularly for Goldman School students. So it's not open publicly, it's not open even to the campus, it's open just for GSPP students and alums. And those job listings are sent to us from employers that are really seeking Goldman School students. And we have other online resources and tools that the team makes available to you. It's something that we're very proud of at GSPP, the career services that we provide. where do our graduates work? We've listed out just a few here, some logos of just a few employers, of course. There are many, many more, but just to highlight what I stated earlier, which is that our alums work at all levels of public sector, whether it be local, state, federal, or international governments or governmental entities. They work in the nonprofit sector and foundations and think tanks and nonprofits. They work in the private sector and corporations and research firms. So it's very, very diverse where our students are coming to us from and then where they're leaving us, which employers they're joining after they graduate. This slide highlights just a few of our alums who stepped into leadership roles after completing the MPA program. And we're very proud of them. We could have many slides like this of our MPA alums and what they're off doing now. But we do just like you to think about the fact that you're in a cohort with other leaders. So it's just an incredibly rich experience because you're joining other leaders from this country and abroad, and you're all bringing your wealth of experiences into the classroom, sharing cross-culturally, and it's just an incredibly rich and cultural experience to be an MPA student. And of course, when you're later in life, like MPA students are, it's rare to meet very dear friends later in life. But that's one of the most beautiful things for us to watch is just the relationships that get formed between the MPA students and how quickly you become close friends and family with each other. And then you have friends across the world, which is quite a beautiful thing. So Simone, I'm going to pass the mic to you to talk about the cost of attendance and then some admissions, next steps and so forth. Thank you so much.
And confirming you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I wanted to take a quick step back and just think about the structure of the program, because the structure of the program is, I like to say the structure is so flexible, it gets confusing. And that really is a reflection of where a typical MPA student is in life. Midlife, average age is 35. Many of you had kids, might have kids while your time in the program. Maybe aging parents, health issues, of course, your job. So there are always lots of things going on with the MPA students. And so we create a super flexible program so that you can determine what flow works best for you through the program to get your degree. And at the time of your application, you do not need to determine how you're going or commit how you're going to go through the program. Indeed, it's not until April when we start asking, okay, are you going to join us summer A or summer B? And so that's when things start getting locked in. But indeed, the entire program structurally, as well as us, staff, just kind of being present for you, the entire program is set up to be flexible, set up understanding that you've got competing priorities in your life. And in many cases, those priorities must be addressed first before the school. So I wanted to emphasize that. Estimated cost of attendance. So just real quick snapshot. I mean, you can get the, there's more detail on the website, but it's generally the program fee, which is a term of art for tuition, is right under 70,000. That's estimated. And then you've got central campus fees. The program fee is, by the way, sorry, going back to the program fee, it's billed in 4 different increments. So as you join us for summer A or summer B, that portion is billed. As you join us for summer D, that portion is billed, so on and so forth. And then the only other line item I want to point out here is the health insurance. The university, and I will send you ample reminders, both as you matriculate and as you are a current student. The university automatically enrolls all students into the university healthcare system, which is called SHIP, S-H-I-P. Don't worry, if you have conforming health insurance, you can opt out, thus saving you the cost of SHIP. So that's one important point that I want to make, that is waivable. Also, I mean, the University Health Insurance is excellent. So some students have the option of perhaps other conforming insurance, and they choose to do SHIP. Let's go to the next slide, please. So financing your education. Most of our domestic students take out federal loans. The typical way to do that is through the FAFSA loan system. Hopefully FAFSA has gotten its act together this year. I know last year there was a big snafu across the country, which didn't impact our students too much, but certainly some of the undergrad students. But FAFSA, federal loans, is a major way to go through the program financing. Employer or governmental scholarships. So whether that's your current employer or the government that you're from, whether it's the United States or a state government, an international government, the students get a lot of partial and full scholarships through those. To the extent that you may have served in the U.S. Military services, the universities helps facilitate you receiving the U.S. GI benefits. And then a lot of students serve as teaching assistants. So we refer to those as GSIs or GSRs. So graduate student instructors, graduate student researchers. Also, there are readers and tutor positions. So there are positions, teaching assistant positions, that are available for our students that come with a fee remission, which is basically a discount on tuition, as well as an hourly wage. And the typical value of that fee remission is about $6,000 to about $8,500 per fall, and then again in the spring. So another of that increment during the spring. And those are available to both domestic and international students. Admissions process, the cohort profile. Sorry, Annie. Sorry. As I mentioned, I mean, the main thing here is we are, and I do mean we, are kind of a mid-career, mid-age group. So that means Annie, Cam, we all have school-age children. So we definitely can relate to that, as well as the instructors. The instructors love looking at the MPA students because they see the MPA students much more as colleagues. And that's because not only because of kind of age and where you are personally, but also because many of you are experts in your specific area of work, to the extent that perhaps in any given subject matter, there might be a student in the classroom, an MPA student, that knows more about that subject, that specific subject, than the instructor. And that's what Annie had mentioned this. That's what kind of adds to the robust culture dialogue within the MPA cohort. So we're typically about 60, 70 students per year. We're typically, this year, we're about 49% in women. Generally, women are a little bit above 50%. International, we're about 35 to 40% international students. Average age is 35. The average years of work experience is about 7. And we've got about 18.5% unrepresented, traditionally unrepresented minorities. And here I want to mention, Annie had talked about kind of people coming to the program to pivot. I would say, the largest percentage of students are coming from the nonprofit sector or the governmental sector, but we still got about 25-30% of students that are coming from the private sector. And the private sector might include big tech, working as attorneys, finance. So there's we've had a medical doctor who sold his practice and is now trying to get into public health. We've had award-winning architects. So we've got a lot of, just kind of the tapestry of the entire, professional world. And it really adds a lot, again, to just the diversity of perspectives, opinions that you will encounter at the Golden School within your cohort. Let's go to the next slide. Online application requirements. We are accepting applications right now. Round 1 deadline was December 1. So you're looking at round 2 or rolling admissions. So I will get into that a little bit later. But what are we looking for when you're applying? Application requirements. Well, first and foremost, you've got a URL there in the kind of title, you've got to go to that's through graduate admission. So you apply through a central campus web portal, and you would find our program under summer start programs. Don't look for us under fall start, because we start either in May or in June. So we're a summer start program. Look for us there, and you'll find our application on the graduate admissions web portal. We request a resume, work experience. We need 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. Ideally, those letters of recommendation are professional rather than kind of an academic letter of recommendation from, for example, a professor. Unofficial transcripts from with proof of graduation. We need 2 essays, a policy statement of purpose, as well as a personal history statement. To the extent that you went to you received your undergraduate degree in a country where the primary language or the official language is not English, then you need to provide TOEFL or IELTS scores as proof of English language proficiency. If there's any question to that, you can contact me and we can look at your specific case. But again, I want to point out, the focus is not what country you're a citizen of, but it's where you received your undergraduate degree, not where you received your graduate degree, where you received your undergraduate degree. So any nuances, details you need to work through, let me know. There is no GRE requirement. I always tell applicants, if you're just applying to our program, do not take the GRE. We prioritize other aspects of your application much higher than the GRE. What aspects of those? Let's actually go to the next slide. And I think let's go to the next slide after that, and then we'll go back. So I'm going to talk about holistic review, just how we prioritize looking at applications. So the first thing that we're looking at is your work experience. So this is a mid-career program. We need to make sure that you are mid-career. What does that even mean? Well, we're looking for leadership. Okay, it's easy where you have a position where the title leadership is in the title. For example, if you were in the military and you were a captain, colonel, lieutenant colonel, all that helps. But we're looking for either leadership, management of staff, or specific initiatives that go through an organization, or where your background might be in grassroots organizing initiatives that go through a community. So we look for your work experience. We look at your letters of recommendation. So we're reading the entire letter of recommendation. We're not just kind of looking at the letterhead and the signature block. We want to make sure that the recommender knows you well and can speak to your leadership skills. And then we look at your essays. And with the essays, we are looking for passionate, mission-driven people who want to change the world. That is the energy, the vibe of the Goldman School. It's mission orientation. So those are the essays that work best. Hey, we get it. Everybody is doing this for some degree or another for professional reasons, but the overall vibe of the Goldman School are people who want to make a true impact and make the world a better place. So let's go back now, if we can, just regarding the application deadlines. Mentioned that round 1 application is now over, and we're reviewing that, digesting that. Round 2 applications are due February 1. And if you're an international student, you really, really, really need to make that February 1 deadline. Now, this is just internal guidance from us. The reason why we try to get international applicants to apply as early as possible is because clearly they have a much longer runway to get to our school in May or in June. And so that would include not only moving, maybe they've got kids and finding schools, but also the whole student visa experience that we have zero control over. So international students definitely need to apply by that round 2 deadline. If you apply by February 1, you will know your admission status likely by, March, early March. And then we go into rolling admissions after February 1. And we will do rolling admissions through April. And really pretty much only people in California can avail themselves of rolling admissions. Again, there's no administrative prohibition, but just the notion that you need to be in your seat theoretically by the end of May. It just creates such a short runway that unless you're, already pretty much nearby the school, you can't avail yourself of that ruling in admissions. But certainly we invite you to apply, and to the extent that there might be some issue that you may be having, I certainly invite you to set up a one-on-one call with me, and we'll figure out how best to accommodate you. I should actually mention, by the way, our application process is not a gotcha process. It is, we are here to help you, to shepherd you through the process. We want to make sure each applicant presents his or her best sort of profile. So to that extent, whatever we can do, we will, support you in your needs. So feel free to go ahead, set up some time with us and ask us, let us know what you need, and we will consider it. Next slide. Okay. So what should you be doing now that we're late into the process? The first thing that you really need to do is reach out to your recommenders, and because it always takes a little while for them to obviously produce a letter of recommendation. I will say, regarding the round 2 deadline, letters of recommendation can be a trailing document, not by much, because we're still going to need it. The admissions committee isn't going to need to see it, but that February 1 deadline, they can come after that February deadline. The important thing here is for you to email me and let me know that they're coming, so we can, appropriately treat your application. But you should be really focused on getting your informal transcripts from any institution that you received units from that contributed to your degree. And not just the degree conferring institution, any institution that you transferred units into. The working on your letters of recommendation, and then of course your essays. And there's the email to us, the MPA at berkeley.edu. We try to respond to all emails within 24 business hours. I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you so much, Simone.
Mhm.
So now I'm going to stop sharing, and this is an opportunity to ask us questions. And we're here for you. If you have any questions, you can feel free to type them into the chat now, or just turn on your camera and your audio, and we're happy to answer questions. Thank you all so much for being here. It's wonderful to see you.
Looks like we have one question in the chat from Jessica Stone. If I already had professors write my letters of recommendation, should I swap those out for letters from previous or current employers? Is it possible to replace letters that have already been submitted?
You want to take that, Simone?
You would need to if the letter has already been submitted, you would need to contact me. You would need some help on the back end. So and it's not that big of a deal for us to swap them out like that. To the extent that they have not yet been submitted, you can delete the slot. So if you can imagine the application portal, it's basically has 3 slots for recommenders. You put their name and their email address, and then the system will ping that name and that email address to, coordinate getting that application and the letter of recommendation. So if the letter of recommendation has not yet been received, you can delete that slot and then create a new one and put a new individual there. But I encourage you, if you've already got letters of recommendation from academic individuals, people in your life, give me a call or email me, or set up some time that we can talk and we can take a look at that. I mean, I don't want to erase that effort.
Thank you, Simone. Molly's asking how many students are selected in round 1. When will the admission responses be sent for round 1? So we'll be sending the admissions letters for round 1 at the beginning of February, very close to the round 2 deadline. So I highly recommend getting your application in as soon as possible if you haven't yet applied. It's always better to do it closer to the front than closer to April 1st. April 1st is dangerously close to the beginning of the program. So although we like to keep the application open until April 1st, I really always recommend folks to apply as soon as possible. It only helps you to get your application in sooner. So that's just my general piece of advice.
That's right. And there's no admissions advantage to which round you apply. It's all logistically making sure you're in your seat by May. That includes talking to your employer about time off, as well as, you know, securing finances. So really, the earlier that you know, the better.
Vardini was asking, on average, what percentage of students from the last 3 batches have attended the program full-time on campus? Because they wanted to understand what the in-person time would be like. And Vardini, I'll say that predominantly students have attended in person full-time. It's a smaller percentage that attends online. I would say maybe, how many online students do you think we have this year, Simone? Maybe 12,
Well,
a dozen?
I mean,
It's a
depends.
small percentage of online students, but there's a larger percentage of students who are here in person, but are also still working. But if you can swing it, I would say definitely plan to attend the in-person summer full-time session, because it's just a great way to bond with your cohort. It's nice to have the flexibility of being an online student, or flexibility to work while you're getting your degree. And it's nice to have the flexibility of starting later and online. But I will say that you'll have a better experience getting to know your cohort if you're able to be full-time and in person. That's how I would answer that. Is there anything you would add to that, Simone?
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, just online, it's a tricky question because some students who are local might take some classes online and
That's right.
some in person.
That's
So
right.
there's a lot of that as well.
Yeah. The flexibility allows students to make a lot of different choices. Thank you, Graciela. And thank you everyone for being here. It's really nice to see you all, and we hope you will reach out and ask us questions. We love to talk about the program and hear about your stories as well. So thank you so much. It's 6 o'clock, so unless there are any other questions, I think we'll go ahead and stop the recording, Cam. And we'll